Hey everyone, this is PrinceBrightstar, and welcome to the early access launch of Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. And we're just gonna be hitting the main scenario quest immediately here. I want to get out in front of everybody else, just because prior expansions, especially when the servers were really busy, there have been issues whereby players got stuck. And so I definitely want to. Get us out as quickly as we can here. Also, I'm going to make a quick adjustment here. Let me turn this down here, because I'm noticing a little bit of lag happening here, so I definitely want to make sure I take care of that. Let me also just turn things down just a bit here. We'll see how things go. Oh, let me make sure that didn't turn blur on, because I don't like blur at all. Yep, it did, so... Alright, let's try this again. We should be good now. I'm not seeing any more lag. Okay, cool. So, first quest, the next ship to sail. Alphino is feeling the need to take stock. Prince, do you have some time to talk? I would like to gather everyone in Dawn's Respite, and together assess the situation in which we find ourselves. Let us take stock of the facts, shall we? The crisis at hand began with the sudden appearance of ominous towers in a multitude of locations throughout the world. We have since learned that said structures were brought into being by an organization known as the Telophoroi. The Telophoroi's stated purpose is to recreate the final days of eons past, an apocalyptic event that would result in the destruction of all we hold dear. Already have these towers of theirs been the cause of untold suffering. Also, I'm liking the new music here. Countless innocents kidnapped and imprisoned, their faith perverted for primal summonings. And unless we find a way to deal with the corruptive aura surrounding the spires, we can't even get close enough to rescue anyone. Those shielded with the blessing of light seem to be able to resist being tempered, at least. But after what happened to Arnvold and Fordola, we need to be very, very careful about how we proceed. Yet while these threats close to home are of paramount concern, we mustn't lose sight of the situation in Garlemald. As you know, the Telophoroi are under the leadership of Fan Daniel and one other delightful fellow, Xenos Ye Galvas, the Crown Prince and our dear friend. To date, he has reclaimed his old body, murdered Emperor Varus, and plunged Garlemald into an even deeper pit of chaos. The capital has probably seen the worst of it. For a good while there, it saw the bloodiest fighting in the War of Succession, but that has since changed, and in troubling ways. Aye, during our reconnaissance, the air was not once rent by the barking of cannons or the cries of discord. 'Twas an eerie fog of silence which did blanket that ruined city. The inhabitants appeared to have been tempered, and with nary a word spoken did they labor to transform the palace into a soaring edifice born of nightmares. If they were indeed made thralls, it seems safe to assume that these events, too, were orchestrated by the Telophoroi. An army of primals is awful enough, but in light of recent developments, I fear it is only the prelude to an even greater catastrophe. We need to devise a means to counter this threat, and quickly, before our allies are overwhelmed. We will find a way in Charlian, I am sure of it. Master Fortunal's comments regarding the final days were curious, to say the least. The Forum knows more than it is letting on. Sorry to interrupt. We've just received word from Mistress Cryle. She says that arrangements for your visit have been finalized. You're to head to Limsa and board the next ship bound for Charlian. And on arrival, present yourselves as associates of the students of Baldesia, come to assist with the Order's restoration. The arrangements may be settled, but what of your thoughts? They must race at the prospect of returning home after so long. I'm gonna turn the music down just a little bit here. I am eager to see it, of course. Of course, we should set off at once. Then I'll accompany you to the docks. You need at least one person there to wave and cry and wish you a safe journey. So, question, why are we not taking the airship? Ah, that's the new quest music. And so we need to head over to Limsa, and I am sorry to see that they did not simply teleport us directly there, in a cutscene, just for the reason that the whole city, I'm expecting, is going to be flooded here with people trying to get to the docks, but let's see. Yeah, it's taking a moment for things to load here. Alright, so we need to head for the Arcanist Guild. Oh, this is the new teleportation map. Nice. Yeah, I want to get out of the city as quickly as I can here. Alright. Tataru. Everyone's here, which is good, because I've already paid for your passage, and the fee is non-refundable. The ship for Charlian should be pulling into port soon, so please follow me and have all your luggage close at hand. Again, why are we not taking the airship? Wouldn't that be faster? Oh hey, it's the old 1.0 field theme for this area. Not the city, but out in the open. Actually, I think we've heard this once or twice before at this point.
They've almost finished loading our cargo. We should be ready to depart right on schedule, or so I'm told.
Excellent. 'Tis nice to have a smooth beginning to one's journey, at the very least.
It's funny. Master Louis Soir came here on a ship very much like this one. And now, years later, the street urchin he befriended that day is bound for his mentor's homeland. With his mentor's grandchildren, no less.
Aye. 'Tis upon reflection that every twist of time's river and fate's whims are brought into sharp relief. Thou hast matured much in the intervening years. Wert thou not caught attempting to relieve Master Louis Soir of his purse scant moments after he made landfall upon this dock?
You know, I had worried for just a moment here that Oriange may have actually stopped speaking in the older language, but this line right here, yeah, he still got it.
Oh, really? Now that's a tale I'd like to hear.
Will this be your first visit to Charlian, Sir Estinian? Sir Estinian?
Are we strangers newly met? Why this stiff formality?
I, merely meant it as a professional courtesy, since we are now colleagues in an official sense.
He just wants to get on the ship already.
I'd rather you dispense with the sirs, especially in private company. Or I'll be forced to respond in kind, little Lord Alphino.
You've made your point, Estinian. Painfully well.
Better.
Are you all right, Tataru? You seem positively distraught.
Distraught? Me? Don't be silly. I think it's lovely that they get to see their homeland. It's just... we're trying to thwart the schemes of an army hell-bent on destroying the world. And, once again, I have to stay behind and worry that this is the last time I'll get to see my friends.
No sense worrying about the things we're powerless to change.
Well, that's hardly comforting.
Ah, good. You're still here.
Hori! Kultine! What brings you all this way?
We're to assist the Maelstrom and the Kobolds with a lunar primal operation, so we thought we'd see you off before heading to the tower. Flamine and the others wish you all a safe journey, and promise that they'll look after things here until you return. We will too, of course. Aye. We, your fellow Scions of the Seventh Dawn, will do our part to ensure the end of the world won't happen on our watch.
We're set to sail! All aboard for Charlian!
Alright, let's go!
It's time.
Then we must delay no longer. We will contact you the moment we learn aught of value. Wish us luck.
Have a safe journey, and please, please, be careful.
And so you venture forth unto the unknown.
Hello, Emmett.
A fate beyond the horizon that cannot be divined. A future undefined and in flux. In uncertain times, naught but the simplest words of wisdom will suffice. That which lives is destined to die. Love leads to loss. Every beginning has an end. Treasure every moment, every step of your descent.
It looks like I was right. That was probably Emmett talking to us way, way back in the past. Before, when the end of the world was first coming.
Where souls and stars rest, find your truth.
And here we go. Is there going to be another shipwreck? Probably not.
Here. Feel.
Is this the 1.0 Limsa opening?
Think.
Nah, it can't be. I've already got my current armor on. It just kind of had that feel.
The day has barely dawned, my fellow earlier riser. Though we're hardly alone in that. Envious of those still sleeping soundly, no doubt. Called out to you, you say? I've heard nothing myself. In any case, I dare say the sea air will do you good. Why not join the others on deck? Charlene should be coming into view at any moment.
Indeed, Rux, finally it's out. Oh wait, what? I'm sorry, Rooks? Ah, the woman in white. Oh, gotcha, Rooks. Huh, I thought I turned all those off last time.
My voice yet reaches you. I am glad. Hear, feel, think. And thus do we meet face to face at last. My warrior of light, guided by the crystal.
This is really interesting because this is a really complicated issue here. Because really, we know now that both Hydaelyn and Zodiark are primals. That's one part of this. But secondly, the whole idea of the Warrior of Light and everybody that sees the Star Shower, Hydaelyn is likely tempering those people. So, and yet, the Warrior of Light has been following Hydaelyn this whole time. Yeah, I gotta go with I can trust your words no longer.
You have visited the first. You have every right to say that. You have gained an understanding of what I truly am, what Hydaelyn has always been, a primal. Zodiark was created to forestall the apocalypse which threatened the ancient world, and I was brought forth to bind him.
And what happens if we take out Zodiark? Does that simply restart the apocalypse? Right where it left off?
Yet 7 times now, those who would orchestrate a return to that bygone era have rejoined a shard to the god I had sundered. The greater his strength grows, the swifter does mine own diminish. The power to draw your mind into the rift betwixt is no longer mine to wield. Yet though it taxes me sorely, I dare not leave these words unsaid. Even bereft of my guidance, you and your companions have accepted the burden of this star's troubled past. A conjunction has begun to form, an intertwining of your time and mine. Wheels shudder and turn. Conflict looms. Monumental, which will decide the fate of this world and all life upon it. When you truly understand what is at stake, and your journey has prepared you to surmount the insurmountable, then shall I honor the promise made in another time, another age.
Is that the promise with Midgar Sormer? Or...
Cast your peepers to the fore, folks! Sharlayan's just over yonder.
Or was that a promise back when we were the 14th?
I will not keep you further. Your traveler's heart must yearn to behold this unfamiliar land. We shall meet again, and soon.
At least they didn't leave us in suspense about her for long. Who she was, that is.
Oh, what a fine morning. Still a bit stiff, though.
And a good morning to you too. Taking a look at the island already?
Then let's go. Let's go! Might still be room in the prow if we're lucky.
Ah, the sleepers have arisen. There she is. Good old Sharlayan.
Oh, I see it.
Home. Home at last. Well, maybe not in Father's eyes, but we'll manage on our own, if we must.
You do know you're not alone in this, don't you?
Indeed, 'tis as Sir Estinian saith. Forget not the comrades who boarded this ship at your side, I prithee.
Thank you, my friends. We are ever grateful for your steadfast support.
Upon arrival, we will be disembarking into the heart of Sharlayan proper. There is no greater concentration of wisdom in all the world. I am confident that somewhere within that center of knowledge and learning, we will find the answers we seek.
Give us the title card already, please. There it is, Endwalker.
Sharlian, the solitary island nation of the northern seas. Where under the watchful gaze of Thaliak, patron deity of scholars, academics hoard all manner of knowledge and secrets. Once, they deigned to accept foreign students into a distant colony maintained in the Dravanian hinterlands. How swiftly they abandoned it once the first Garlean boot set hostile foot on Ala-Megan soil. So averse to the prosecution of war, these men of wisdom, your would-be allies.
That's interesting, that he's... It sounds almost as if he's talking in the present, then.
I thought they'd never let us off the ship. What's next, then? Entry applications?
And, Rooks, the issue is more that the Warrior of Light, had never been to OldCharlene before, so he would not have access to the Aethernet.
Hopefully they find no cause to deny us.
Hasn't Sharlian all but severed relations with foreign powers? Those of us without direct ties, myself included, may be refused outright.
'Tis true that, as a nation, Sharlian only forms trade agreements with a select few neutral countries. But from a practical standpoint, an island cannot afford to be overly strict with its borders, especially not if that island's people are wholly devoted to the accumulation of knowledge. If one submits the proper paperwork, with satisfactory evidence of identity and intent, then foreigners may be granted entry.
May.
Quite. So let us be absolutely clear on these points before we proceed. The immigration officer will ask for your affiliation and your purpose of visit. Considering Sharlian's views on intervention, I strongly suggest we avoid any mention of the Scions. Kral has laid the groundwork for us to act as associates of the students of Baldessian, and our ostensible reason for being here is to aid in their order's restoration.
I wonder if going through Eureka would have changed this scene at all.
Rahatiya, it might expedite our progress should an actual student be seen at the head of our little group. Would you mind leading the way?
Of course. The immigration officers were this way, as I recall. Shall we? Greetings. We've just arrived and are eager to make our way into the city. Would you be so kind as to process our entry applications?
Certainly. I see by your mark you are an Archon.
I am. Rahatiya of the Students of Baldessian at your service. I was assigned to an Eorzean survey team, but have returned to assist with the reformation of my order. My associates here will provide additional support.
Very good. I have paperwork detailing your group and its scheduled arrival for today. And it seems some few of your companions are also Archons. If you'll step forward, we can process those applications first.
Ishtola rule.
See how it glows? That list is etherically linked with the citizen registry kept in the main repository.
I think after this scene, I'm going to try messing with the frame rate again. It's coming in a little bit slower than I would expect here.
I've confirmed your status as Archons and amended your travel records accordingly. Welcome home. Now, who do we have here?
Leviers. Let's see if his father barred them from entering.
Alphino Leveilleur.
And Alize Leveilleur.
Your applications have also been approved. Having said that, the streets are abuzz with talk of how House Leveilleur's lord disowned his young progeny. And while such personal circumstances constitute no reason to deny you entry, I urge you to avoid exacerbating your present situation. Times are quite troubled enough already.
We shall keep that in mind.
These last two are not Sharlayan natives, but you will find their credentials are in order. An application was made in advance.
Name and occupation?
PrinceBrightstar, Warrior of Light. Yeah. Yeah, let's keep it on the down low in this case. Artisan.
Indeed. Your profile describes you as an adventurer, but one also trained in the rather more constructive pursuits of procurement and production. You may enter. And you, sir?
Estinian Valeno, formerly of the Order of the Knights Dragoon in Ishgard.
Formally, at least. And what, pray tell, is your profession now?
He's not gonna get in.
If you'll allow me...
Oh, hi, Kryl.
My associate is a mercenary, hired for his strength at arms. Surely you are aware of the dangers we often face on our forays into the wilderness.
Mistress Baldessian, if you insist on sponsoring his entry, then so be it. But while I appreciate that desperate times call for desperate measures, I find your choice of company concerning. Be advised that even a single misstep may have severe repercussions for your organization.
I have every confidence in my chosen company, dear and trusted comrades that they are. But I thank you for your concern.
Well, he wouldn't have gotten in without her, at
Kryl,
least.
it is good to see you.
Likewise. Long voyage notwithstanding, you will seem none the worse for wear. There is much to discuss, but this is hardly the place. Let's be on our way, shall we? Oh! Welcome, friends, to Sharlayan.
As your mercenary, I should hope my welcome includes a generous salary.
Well, I had to say something, Sir Taciturn.
Alright, let me see if I can turn this up without it having lag happening again here. Let's see, display, and set it to 144. Alright, I'm gonna keep an eye on this as we start looking around town here. And let's hit up the first of the Aethernet shards here. Alright, so it looks like I'm gonna have to complete a quest in order to get access to the hunt. And I guess we're gonna have to do the, finish up this, main scenario quest first. But before we do that, summoning bell. I want to get, everybody off on their... Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm not going to start that up yet. They need to... I actually need to level up first, before I can do anything. Alright. I'm glad I spotted your ship coming into port. The officers are born bureaucrats and sticklers for detail. In any case, you may relax and take a moment to get your land legs back. And we're receiving a horse chestnut weapon coffer. I'm gonna hang on to that for a for an alternate class. Alright, Rooks, I see your message there. Let me see if I can adjust that real quick here. Give me one moment. Settings. Why would they not be able to join chat? Wait a minute, I turned these options off with the last stream. Why are they back on? Alright, bear with me for one moment here. I think the issue is that the settings aren't saving, so let me try to fix this a different way here first. It's going to ask me for the token. One moment, everyone. I want to make sure everybody's able to get in. Sorry, this is all remnants of when, from when the bots were flooding in. But hopefully we're past that now. Okay, so everything should be good now. Brooks, go ahead and reach out to Armored Raven, see if he can, see if they can, try joining again here. Into the chat. In the meantime, let's move on. OldCharlene, new to you. I had thought to launch directly into an explanation of what I've learned and how we might proceed. But this is Prince Nestinian's first time in Charlian, and for the rest of you, a homecoming that was long overdue. You must have places you wish to visit and people you're dying to see. Therefore, I propose we postpone our agenda so that you all may have sufficient time to recover from your journey and get your bearings in the city. Once you've settled in, we can reconvene at the Baldessian Annex. How does that sound? 'Tis a fine suggestion. We may not be welcome at the Levier estate as such, but I should like to nose around the neighborhood all the same. I am equally untethered, as it were. There is no particular place that my kin call home. Still, I would not pass up the opportunity to reacquaint myself with the city. Likewise, a quick tour of our old haunts might even yield some useful gossip. The annex was west of the Aetherite Plaza, wasn't it? I shall join you there anon. Yes, we'll see you there. Got it, Rooks. Thanks. I, too, have places I would be remiss in not visiting forthwith. By thy leave. What of you, Estinian? My services as a guide are yours for the asking. That won't be necessary. Until we reconvene, I prefer to wander as the wind takes me. Well, I could... Oh. Well, Raha, would you like to join us then? You've been gone for quite a while, and this would be the perfect way to refresh those dusty old memories of yours. Oh, of course. If you'll have me. Come, Prince. Charlian awaits. Alright, Rahatiya, what do you got to say? After you, my friend. I am more than content to follow your lead. Rahatiya is now accompanying you. Keep him at your side in order to proceed with quest objectives. You can leave Rahatiya behind by entering a different area, using the Aethernet, or by putting too much distance between you. You can also speak with Rahatiya and select the option to part ways. If you wish to have Rahatiya accompany you again, return and speak with him at the original location. While Rahatiya is accompanying you, next try speaking with Kryl. And there we go! This is a new feature in this expansion, where you can have NPCs accompany you. Do not forget Mistress Kryl, our worthy guide. Deposing soldier, yeah, yeah, definitely. This is, I don't remember setting things that high when the bot invasion was happening, so I think this might have been Twitch that did it or something. And I think that might be you, Armored, if I'm not mistaken. All set? Then let us be on our way. Our first stop, amusingly enough, will be the Last Stand. It's a cafe on the west side of the harbor. Kryl is now accompanying you. Lead your two companions to the Last Stand and speak with Kryl at the designated location. While you are accompanied, you may encounter conversation points along the way which offer additional topics of discussion. Enter the glowing area and speak with your quest companions to initiate these bonus conversations. Enjoy exploring your surroundings together. Alright, so is it marked on the map where I need to go? Alright, so I guess this is it. Well, this is actually the Paris style. Discuss the storage facility. With all the unusual wares coming and going at all hours, I expect the assistance of an intrepid adventurer would be highly appreciated. I see no reason why you couldn't undertake any tasks which pique your interest. You have been cleared by the immigration officials, after all. I look forward to the day your name is celebrated in Charlian the same way it is in Eorzea. This place is called the Peristyle, and it is the first stop for cargo unloaded at the docks. You'll find the usual necessities for daily living and other imports vital to running an island nation, but also supplies that further Charlian's pursuit of knowledge. Namely, large quantities of books, specimens, and samples. Sorting these stacks certainly seems to keep the attendants busy. Yeah, I guess the quest hasn't opened up yet, so we'll be coming back here. Alright, so where is the last stand? There's the Studium, Tranquility, Archon's Den. I'm guessing it might be over in the east, then. And hey, they have the sprint ability as well. Nice. But sprint is not going to last long enough around here. Bard! Alright, here's an Aethernet shard. Cryo. Let's head to the cafe. It may not seem so at a glance, but the last stand is actually a very important part of the city. I'm grateful to have Kryle's help in reacquainting myself with this place. It's almost as if I'm seeing it with new eyes, as you are. Oh, nope, it's all the way back over there. Okay. I completely missed that on the map. Back to Scholar's Harbor. Hey, you can even click on the map to pull up the, to teleport. Nice. Alright, so we gotta collect everybody again here, since we did that. Yes, there are still places to go and things to show you. Come along. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Even when I'm looking at the map, and even when I have certain settings set up, it's hard for me to see the yellow circle sometimes. But let's see what everybody has to say here. Discuss the giant statue in the harbor. Now that is a sight one could hardly forget. The great statue of Thaliak. As a student of Baldessian, I was usually quartered on the Isle of Val, but I would gaze upon the scholar's wise features every time I returned by ship to the city. That being that statue up there. This path leading out towards the sea is known as the Thaliak Stoa, so named for the statue of the scholar which stands at its end. As you know, the Charlian people prize the accumulation of wisdom above all else. Thus, when Thaliak was chosen as our patron deity, it was more a matter of pragmatism than belief. An alignment of principles, as it were. We may have honored him with a rather impressive sculpture, yes, but our faith is not so restrictive as that of, say, the Ishgardians. Individual Charlians can, and do, worship the divinities of their choosing. Let's get rid of this. And here we are, the last stand. I may have mentioned this before, but although our research into nutrition and food preparation is quite extensive, the average Charlian tends to regard seasoning and flavor with a certain indifference. How can I put this? The food is, it's bland, as encapsulated as our infamous Archon loaf. The prevailing sentiment towards cuisine is dietary value first, and taste a distant second. There was one pupil at the studium, however, who could stomach the school's insipid meals no longer, so he quit his lessons and poured all his savings into building a proper eatery. And so the last stand came to be. It is, as the name implies, the sole dedicated outpost of fine dining in Charlian. The one and only bastion of the culinary arts in an isle of otherwise mediocre fare. I seem to recall their burger being hailed as one of the more impressive items on the menu. Not that I ever had the pleasure of eating one myself. Because you were a typical Charlian when it came to cheap and convenient Raha, but surely Tataru has since taught you how to appreciate a well-prepared dish. We should all stop in when time permits and sample the cafe's delights. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you there. It's literally the final point before you literally hit the water there. Shall we press on? The stairs to the side of the cafe there will take us up to the Aetheryte Plaza. Alright, so looks like the quest marker, and I could have looked at this thing earlier as well. In the minimap there is an arrow. An unusual shape, isn't it? I assure you, however, that it's a perfectly functioning Aetheryte. Remember to attune yourself before we move on. Now, being the diligent tour guide that I am, I should make mention of the Confluence, a research facility located on this very plaza. Its much vaunted discoveries are the reason Charlian stands at the forefront of teleportation technology. In deciphering the underlying principles of Allegan Aetherites, it allowed us to understand and reconstruct what was essentially a lost art. And off we go to our next destination. Our path leads northeast to Agora, Charlian's largest marketplace. I'm trying to think if there was anything in PSO2 that had silliness. I mean, I guess maybe the stuff with Hitsugi and Ao when he first showed up. What do we have here? Although that might have been more cringe than silly. Do you mind if I browse the shelves for a moment? There might be some hidden gems I've yet to read. Ah, yeah, Patty and tea as well. Only a moment. How optimistic. Feel free to browse all you like, but we won't wait around for you. Ah, perhaps I'll return here later then. this little open-air bookstall are so uniquely Charlian. I'd always thought them a common sight until I visited other nations. Yeah, that's... I don't think I've ever seen an open-air library like that before. Or is this an actual store? Maybe it could be a newsstand in that case then. Gemstones are back. Also, I'm not seeing any more lag, so I do want to make one more adjustment here. And that is to disable occlusion culling, just to see if that works. And then there was also one other thing. Where was it? Yeah, I want to turn off Depth of Field. Welcome to the Agora, where you can find wares made in Charlian, as well as a wide selection of imported goods. Yeah, pretty much a light novel stand, yeah, for certain. They also used to sell questionable prototypes from the various research institutes, but I think that practice has thankfully died out, for the most part. Otherwise, I can think of no better place to stock up for your next big adventure. Am I overselling it? On a more serious note, the next stop on our tour is one which has particular relevance to our ultimate purpose here. We must head back to the Aetheryte Plaza, follow the path north, then climb the stairs up to that imposing building at the very top. Ah, over there. Ah, good. They're actually able to drop off cliffs without having an issue. Is that to everyone there, or... This grand structure before you is the Rostra. The name refers to the original public platform erected here, upon which a forum of elected representatives would deliver orations and debate policy. Although the stage has since evolved into council chambers, the nature of the forum and the duties of its members remain largely unchanged. Am I boring you, Raha? You seem awfully distracted. My apologies. From here, one can see the entire city spread out below. The vista put me in mind of my arrival in the first. Those who gathered at the Crystal Tower asked me how they might go about building a new home. Naturally, my answers were all inspired by my knowledge of the finest settlement I could think of, the great city of Charlian. And bit by bit, those few buildings grew into a town, a community, the Crystarium. I can almost see its echo. I see. Feel free to come up here whenever you wish. I don't think the counselors would object to you simply enjoying the view. Such memories should be treasured. For now, however, the tour must go on. Our spectacle of sightseeing concludes with the fittingly named Journey's End. Walk down the stairs to the east and continue straight ahead. Ah, that's a shame. I didn't even see that spot there, and it's too late for me to talk about that one. In this case, I have to walk over there, because if I teleport, I'm gonna lose them. Ah, we're headed up to the north, actually. Let me just grab this Aethernet shard first. We've arrived at Journey's End. History tells us that this was where those who put ashore with Archon Yunkref built their first homes. In the present day, it serves as the residential district for the most important officials and the oldest Charlian families. You'll see that one mansion is clearly larger than its neighbors. The estate belongs to our friends from House Levier. All things considered, we should probably keep our distance for the time being. And with that, we bring our little Charlian tour to a close. I hope it has proven to be an entertaining and enlightening experience. Now, shall we head directly to the Baldessian Annex? You remember the way, don't you, Raha? Let me think. We head down towards the harbor, cross the bridge to our right, and then follow the path below the Aetherite Plaza? Correct. After you, Prince. Alright. Oh, and there's actually an Aethernet shard over by the Rostra, so I want to pick that up as well. The day is dawning on the city here. Kryl? What are you doing flying? I guess clip it, maybe. As the joyous look on Raha's face has undoubtedly informed you, this is the Baldessian Annex. If you continue up the hill, you'll arrive on the doorstep of Phenomenon. But I think we've explored enough for one day. We can take you there another time. Inside with you, then. Wait a minute, this is ahead on our way from Final Fantasy V! What is that doing here? I'm back, and I brought Prince and Raha with me. Ah, you were right about the ship, then. Hello, Raha. It's nice to see you again. And it's a pleasure to finally meet you, Prince. I've heard many a tale of your exploits. Ojika! Ojika Sunjika? Shunika? I think that's how it is. It's been an age. Allow me to introduce Ojika Sunika, Administration Officer of the Students of Baldessian. He oversees the day-to-day business of the Annex. You may recall meeting his cousin, Ejika? Oh yes, Eureka. I've read the initial reports. Quite a shock to hear what's become of the Isle. Do take care if you have the opportunity to rejoin the expedition. This place is like a second home for the students. The Isle of Val served as our main headquarters, of course, but we often had occasion to visit Charlian. whether to make use of the city's research facilities, attend conferences, or procure supplies from distant shores. And the annex here was built to provide lodgings for our members while we engaged in such activities. Ever since our former headquarters, along with the Isle itself, vanished, the annex has served as our base of operations. And yet it feels so empty. With so many lost to us, our organization is a shell of its former self. The day will come when we will see the students rise again. But first we must ensure that the Tolophoroi fall. Though that door on the left there is the main hall, or through that door on the left there is the main hall, where we can discuss our options moving forward. Once everyone arrives, that is, you probably have time to rest before our discussions begin in earnest. I've had private quarters prepared for you in the Andron, so please feel free to make yourself at home. Ah, the nap rooms. Perfect for an afternoon doze. Oh, I didn't mean to give you the wrong impression. The chambers are quite well appointed. Far more so than some cheap roadside inn, you may be assured. 'Twas simply that we were often so busy with research or exhausted from journeys abroad that we would slip into the Andron just to steal a few winks. And thus they became known amongst the students as nap rooms, even if many such naps might last well into the following morning. Say the word and I'll be happy to show you to your chamber. Hopefully the others won't be too long in coming. I'll wait for you all in the main hall. Yeah, he definitely seems to have that impression. Alright, before we head inside there, they may not want to show me around over here, but I want to take a quick stroll. And I want to pick up this Aethernet shard. And there we go, you have attuned yourself to all the Aethernet shards in OldCharlene. Alright, back to the Baldessian Annex. I guess it kind of makes sense if this is the students of Baldessian's home base here in town. And given Kryl, that we might actually be hearing some Final Fantasy V music here, so... which, you know, at some point I do want to tackle Final Fantasy V in the future on the channel, but we'll see when I'm going to get around to that one. Oh, hey, this is the Three Great Kingdoms map, but there's actually some extra details here. Let's see. Unfortunately, doesn't look like we can actually read any of the text here, which, that is a shame. Oh well. Feeling refreshed and alert? Our colleagues should be wandering in soon, so I suggest we stay here and wait for them to join us.
Pray forgive me. I was delayed.
It's fine, Urianger. We're all here now.
Let's get down to business then, shall we? Come what may, we must prevent the Telophoroi's plans from coming to fruition. At present, I see two paths for gathering the information which may aid us in achieving that goal. The first involves an investigation into the change which has come over Charlian, not to mention the recent inscrutable behavior of the Forum. As most of you know, the 99 members of the Forum are elected from the general populace. This alone guarantees a plethora of opinion with regards to foreign policy. The bibliotheques, for example, are a group of conservatives which would have Charlian focus on recording history, while remaining entirely uninvolved in the making of it. And at the other extreme, we have advocates for proactive diplomacy and direct intervention. My grandfather Galef was one such member, as was Archon Louisois. Yet despite our diverse factions and philosophies, the recent vote to deny Eorzea's request for assistance was unanimous. Even more concerning was the fact that many cited other, more pressing duties as justification for their recalcitrance.
Fortuno's refusal in Gridania had those same undertones. 'Twas as if, having stared unblinking into the face of impending doom, he had simply turned away to pursue something more important. But what could that possibly be?
A mystery indeed, and one which I ask for your help to solve. Our future may depend on it. As for our second potential path, it concerns a request made directly to the students of Baldessian. Our organization was founded primarily to study strange and unexplained phenomena the world over. Mysterious relics and ruins, arcane disturbances, and so forth. Compared to our more isolationist Charlian colleagues, we have strong connections overseas, namely with scholars and academics who share our passion for the unknown.
I mean, yes, this is how we're gonna get over to Thavnair. And,
The
yeah.
request in question comes from one such acquaintance, Nidana, an alchemist residing in distant Thavnair.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it, but Yoshi P definitely did bring that Doomsday bunker up during one of the live shows. So yeah.
Her missive describes the sudden appearance of a tower, and the subsequent summoning of what I can only assume is a lunar primal. In response to this threat, the satrap of Radzat-Han, the individual who governs the city-state, has instructed the alchemists to find a means to deal with the spire.
The artisans of that land are heirs to an ancient tradition, one rather unlike that of their Uldan counterparts. It is possible, nay, probable, that they have gleaned truths unattainable by Eorzea or her Far Eastern allies.
They do, in fact, appear to have a strategy in mind, though it will require further research. To that end, they have requested an introduction to a capable warrior shielded by the blessing of light.
Assuming we divide our forces to pursue both of Kral's lines of inquiry, then having you join the group heading to Thavnair would seem the obvious choice. But the investigation in Charlian is of vital importance as well. Equal, I think, to the Thavnairian one, given that the fate of the world may hinge on the results of both.
Yes, it is quite the quandary. Though it is a great imposition and an altogether too common one, our efforts would be more likely to succeed were you to lead the charge on both fronts. You are indeed our champion. As to which task to tackle first, we will defer to your decision. Let us next decide how everyone else might best be assigned. As for myself, I shall continue what I've begun in Charlian. I should also like to steal the services of an Archon or two.
And thereby gain access to a greater range of reading material. I will help with that.
Allow me to offer my assistance. I have some small amount of experience in the field of research.
Alize and I would also like to help, if you would have us.
Anything to understand even a fraction of what our father and the Forum might be thinking. Of course, the more the merrier.
Right. The rest of us will make the journey to Thavner. Thoughts? Objections?
I passed through Thavner on my way to infiltrate the Empire, and though I'm not qualified to give a guided tour, I did gain a sense of where things lie.
I'll be happy to have you along then. So for this group, it will be you, me, and Urianger.
Give me a moment afterwards, and I'll supply you with all the details of Nadana's request. Consider this hall our rendezvous point once our respective tasks are complete. May our investigations prove fruitful.
Alright, so we've got two options here. We either stay in the city or we head out to Thavner. Which one do we do first? I'm gonna open it up to the comments here. Where should we head first? While you're making your vote, I'll go ahead and pick up both the quests here. We either head out to Thavner, across the ocean, or we stay in the city and help with the information search around the city. I have Kryl's instructions in hand. If you are ready to set out, then so are we. Having been to Thavner before, I can travel by Aetheryte, but what of the rest of you? Another sea voyage would waste time we do not have. Kryl was of the same mind, and has already secured the aid of the good folk of the Confluence. We'll take ourselves there. The Confluence, thou sayest? I'm afraid so, my friend. Thou wilt recall the hunt for Iceheart, unto whose sanctuary we delivered the owing to the knowledge of our comrade Moonbrida. Moonbrida was an authority on aetherology, a field of study she did embark upon in pursuit of her parents' example. Both authorities in their own right, and both are researchers at the Confluence. Haven't you gone to see them yet? I attempted to do so earlier, but to my shame, my courage failed me at the last. As it hath the many times I thought to reach out to them after sending that fateful letter. Neither time nor introspection has revealed unto me the words I should speak, and thus have I kept my silence. Whether you come with us or no is your choice and yours alone. If it is too difficult, we'll manage. Thou art kind to say so, but I have no intention of forsaking our cause. I shall go to the confluence, and I shall face that which hath long been overdue. If it's settled, then let us be off. When we arrive, we should look for a researcher named Kite. Alright, I'm turning some of the protection back on here, given what just happened. Alright, let's grab the other quests, so we have that for when we, Oh! Okay. In that case, let me go ahead and dump, some of these real quick. Let's see. So, we need to head for Norvrant real quick. Ilmeg. I knew this was going to be coming up, but at the same time, I did want to make sure I grabbed, quests. To help fill out the experience I was getting. Alright, that's fine. And that in. I don't care about the tombstones. At least not right now, anyway. Alright. Back to, Charlian. There it is. And now I'll be able to pick up that last quest. Alright, the Baldassian Annex. An unsettling change has come over Charlian, but together we will divine the underlying cause for the Forum's callousness. As I mentioned before, however, questioning the counselors directly is a fruitless endeavor. They seem to have already come to a consensus as to what and how little they are willing to divulge. Which is why I began scouring Charlian's archive of historical records for any hint of a connection to the final days. Suffice it to say that progress has been slow. There are only so many dusty pages one can skim in a day, but now that I have this band of willing reinforcements, this search should proceed all the swifter. Let us reconvene outside Numenon, shall we? Exit the annex to the right, and you'll find the archives on the western edge of the woods. Alright, so now we picked up that quest for when we're done over in Thavnair. So, let's get out of here. Yeah, and I still got a ton of other quests I need to hand in, but I just wanted to make room for these. I'll take care of those a little bit later. For Thavnair Bound. So, that quest is right over here, it looks like. Oh, actually, I just need to head inside the entrance here. Here we go. Well now, this is rather a lot of stern faces. Are my library books overdue again? Not to our knowledge. We're associates of Kryl of the students of Baldessian. We seek passage to Thavnair, and understand that you can assist us. Ah, the test subjects. Welcome, welcome. Test subjects. We're basically on the same wavelength there, Thancred. Oh, you hadn't heard? Well then, allow me to explain. So, in order to travel to an aetheryte, you ordinarily need to be attuned to it beforehand. Otherwise, you can't use it as a beacon to seek out while you're a mess of aether hurtling along the lifestream. An inconvenient but incontrovertible limitation of aetheryte teleportation. Are they going to be testing something like the Serpent Road here? But what if I were to tell you that there's a way to travel to an aetheryte without being attuned to it? Sure, send me to the moon! A way to teleport instantly to places you've never been. For long years, we've labored to make such travel possible, that people might move about more freely. Actually, this might be a way to get us to the other shards as well. And we've finally done it. We've created a new kind of aetheryte that doesn't require attunement. Truly, that changes everything. Well, my language may have been a bit misleading. The user need not attune to these aetherites, but the aetherites themselves must have been pre-attuned to each other, thereby facilitating travel between the 2 points. Okay, no moon today. But it just so happens that our first test pair of aetherites, one has been installed here in Charlian and the other in Yedlamad, port town in Thavnair. As you may know, our nation has long maintained strong ties with Radz-at-Han, and indeed, we owe much of this breakthrough to the contributions of their alchemists. So to sum it up, we're to test these aetherites. How fortuitous for you. I should mention that an accident has impaired my ability to channel ether. Will this be a problem? Not at all. As a matter of fact, you might say these aetherites were made for people like your good self. The magics imbued within will whisk you away without any effort on your part. A veritable dream come true, and far be it from me to worry about such things, but do we have permission to make use of your shiny new invention? The only permission required is yours, so assuming you're willing, we're all set. It may come as a surprise, but we actually struggle to find test subjects. Most people seem to have an unreasonable fear of their souls gradually disintegrating as they drift helplessly in the lifestream, in the statistically unlikely event that something goes awry. And yeah, that's definitely an interesting idea for how two aetherites paired together could be used like this. But it's plain that you aren't most people. Mistress Kryl truly knows how to pick them. I am not sure why I'm stumbling over my own tongue today. I apologize. If I might change the subject, are Master Wilfson and Mistress Bloda not present today? Oh, you didn't hear? They recently resigned their posts. Their expertise was needed elsewhere. Well, that's gotta be a huge relief for Urianger, unless we come across them later in this journey. A large-scale project helmed by the Forum itself, as I understand, but I'm not privy to the details. Huh, could be related to the other quest. I see. And, yeah, that's definitely a point here to posing the, what happened to their bodies when, Y'shtola used flow. Any other questions? No? Then let's get going before you change your minds. Please see to your preparations and head outside to the Aetherite Plaza. I'll be along shortly. What do we have down here? Apparently I can't get down there. Seems like some sort of a library. Maybe that's a location where they actually build the Aetherites. Alright. Okay, now things in town are starting to show up. So, before we set out, I do want to grab the quest over here, the hunt for specimens. Do my eyes deceive me, or are you PrinceBrightstar? Well, as I live and breathe, it is you! Ha! I knew I'd be the first to track you down. Who's the guild ship's top hunter now, eh? Wait, you have heard of the guild ship hunts, yes? They're not so different from the hunts you're familiar with in Eorzea, as I understand it. I'd wager they're rather more challenging, but an adventurer of your caliber would never turn down a challenge, would you? No, you would not. Pray speak with Northota at the Perstyle to register your interest in at the earliest convenience. Alright, to the south. And here we are. I'm Northota. Have you come to place a bounty on an unruly beast? By the scholar, your prince? I was half convinced I'd set the others an impossible task, asking them to find you. The Gleaner's Guild ship has begun posting hunt bills, you see, in the hopes that capable individuals will take up arms and lighten our ever-increasing load. Unfortunately, capable individuals remain the sticking point. Few hailing from our fair polis are willing to take up arms, let alone be able to stand against the more fearsome specimens. You, however, have the expertise and the grit we need. When I heard that you had arrived on our shores, it was music to my ears. You needn't work for free, of course. We've done our research, and the rewards we offer are as fine as any you'll find abroad. The currency we employ is a relic of times when Gleaner was a great deal less figurative, so you may find it somewhat eccentric, but it's as good as Gil here. Speaking of eccentric, it should be noted that the majority of our clients are scholars. You probably won't have heard of half the creatures they send you after, but I find it's best not to worry about that overmuch. Slay beasts, collect samples, try not to think about the long-term effects of touching said samples, and get paid. Simple, no? That being said, I wouldn't dream of throwing you in the deep end just yet. Let's have you start off with some junior marks so you can get your feet wet. Alright, guild ship hunts are now accessible. You're now permitted to take bills for junior marks from guild ship hunt boards in OldCharlene and Radzat-Han. Defeat the monsters described on the bills, and you will be rewarded with tokens that can be exchanged for exclusive items. To exchange tokens for exclusive items, speak with either Jalak Shai in OldCharlene or Wilmetta in Radzat-Han. New quests and associate marks will become available from Northota in OldCharlene upon reaching level 83. Alright. So let's go ahead and grab the Junior Guildship Mark bills. Alright, and now let's take a look at the vendor. Ah, I knew stacking those bags of nuts were going to be useful here. So, I've got 4,000 of those available. So, let's see here. So we already have access to the materia of the expansion, but there's also the Diablo swings. You know what? Let me go ahead and grab those. I'm curious how these are gonna look. And yes, I know, such a clean inventory. Alright. Now, how do I put this on? Fashion accessories. Whoops, wrong one. So, let's give this a try. Alright, so they may not be quite exactly the kind of wings I was looking for, but I'll take it. I just wish they weren't going into my shield. No kidding about that. They definitely seem like Diablos' wings. Alright, so that's the one for Kryl. So we just need to head back up to here. Anything else I need to look at first before we go? So this seems to lead to another zone over here. And then I do want to pick up the other one here real quick. There we go. There's this one for guild leaves here. You strike me as someone who isn't afraid to get his hands dirty, and I don't mean that as a euphemism. Are you interested in a bit of good old-fashioned hard work? But perhaps I'm getting ahead of myself. I am Gridge, one of Charlene's gleaners. It is our role to procure materials, samples, knowledge, all you can imagine, and more. Naturally, 'twould be difficult for any one person to comb the world each time our countrymen ask something of us. Thus did we form a guildship. The better to share information and see the requests we receive to the hands of those best suited to fulfilling them. Some requests, for instance, are better assigned to those who demonstrate a certain degree of finesse and persistence. And the calluses upon your hands tell me that you are one such person. I understand you may feel some trepidation, given the, somewhat lax selection process. As you like as not suspect, the Forum would never officially recognize a traveler from another nation as a gleaner. Unofficially, however, we're up to our necks in requests as of late, and they're coming in faster than ever before. We'll take any talent we can get, and pay good coin for it, so please, tell me you're interested. Alright. The leaves are available now. But I have no idea where these are going to happen, and honestly, I want to focus more on the MSQ. But I still wanted to activate that. Let's see. Oh, and just for reference, actually, I did reach level 80 on all classes, except Blue Mage, of course. That has not seen an expansion yet. Oh, this is gonna be... What can I say? Why would you not move the soul crystal over here? Give us some symmetry, please. Alright, anyway. Oh, and just for reference, what I'm doing here... and actually, let me get rid of this thing here real quick. Basically, what I do is I just press the minus key on my keypad, and that brings up this list of all my classes, or jobs, rather. And then when I select a job, it then takes that away, and it just puts the proper equipment on for me. Yeah, no, we're probably gonna get Blue Mage upgraded, I would say, in the patch series. Anyway, destination.
set. Just the 4 of you, was it?
3. I'm already attuned to the crystal in Thavnir.
You are? Oh. I would have preferred more test subjects. Oh, well, never mind. If our 3 travelers could line up here, please? Yes, right there is fine. Take a deep breath, and I'll soon have you soaring through the ether.
Now, what was that remote there?
Oh, and one last thing. You might experience a teensy-weensy touch of violent ethereal sickness. Good luck!
Say that before we step in!
What?
And off we go.
Thavnir, home to city-state Rads at Han. Rising from the southeast waters of the Bounty, this Isle of Plenty served as the battleground for a conflict between 2 peoples. Their cultures bled into one another until a unique amalgamation was distilled from the chaos, in a process not unlike their precious alchemy. Once solidified as a single nation, an adamant stance of neutrality would hold invaders at bay. For a time. Now across this vibrant isle creeps a fog of malice. What choice do you have?
Either sick, I guess.
What chance?
And he's out.
Against such an insidious foe.
I've seen fairer faces after a bout of bad shellfish. Let me bring you something to drink. That should help settle your bellies.
There was a note with Kryle's instructions. Don't let Estinian roam the markets alone. He's alarmingly bad with coin.
Oh boy. You You managed to will yourself to your feet, but given your condition, will you be able to reach Estinian in time? Well, he said he was gonna bring us something to drink. Closest I have is, I brought bean soup, so I guess I'll go ahead and have one of those and see if that does anything. Probably not. I believe these are the, Mantanga, if I remember correctly? Anyway, let's go ahead and attune to the, Aetheryte. Nope. Oh, and actually, I'm just noticing here. Let me move this. Yeah, I guess that didn't have any impact here. Alright, so he's somewhere around here. There they are. Severe nausea is reducing movement speed. You there, I need 3 drinks. Something that helps with aether sickness. By the Menusa, traveler, greetings. Greetings and welcome. You are wise, good sir, to come to me. My special amrat, lassi, made with only the finest and freshest ingredients, is famed for calming unruly bellies. By way of a warm welcome to Thavnir, I'm pleased to offer it to you for the low price of 19,800 gil, for not 1, not 2, but 3 bottles. A bargain amongst bargains. The price is high road robbery, and you want to say as much to Estinian, but you realize any words of warning you cry out would be accompanied by your last meal. You must stand before Estinian and using gestures deny that the deal is fair. Oh, that's actually, that is kind of funny. I didn't even realize. All right. Well, let's go ahead and deny Estinian. I thought you could barely stand. What do you need to tell me that is so urgent? Wait, I shouldn't buy the last... this merchant is swindling me. Sincerest apologies, sir, but I appear to have my prices confused. It's actually 1,890 gil for the 3 bottles of lassi. That confusion would have been quite costly for both of us. Very well then, your coin. I'm wondering if that's still too high. Here, a bottle for each of you. Take them to the others and get some rest. I'll be back after I've explored the town. You know what? Where is that thing again? Fashion accessories. Can I just... There we go. Alright, let's give this to Urianger. Praise be to the 12, my stomach doth loosen its death grip. My heartfelt thanks to thee and Estinian, and to the fine fruits of this land. You were in time? Excellent, you spared us to Taru's wrath. Special armor lassie. Made with only the finest and freshest ingredients, this armor-flavored lassie is... I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right, if it's, if that I is supposed to be, vocalized or not. Is boasted to settle unruly stomachs. Sweet, sweet release. If you haven't already, you should have yours too. Right, I'm ready to get on with it. That lassie truly worked wonders. Back on your feet, I see. Thy hair! Aye, I've bound it. 'Tis the most I could do against the heat shot of shedding my armor. May I ask where you got the cord for it? Local vendor. The man said it's a Thavnarian weave, tough and not so easily unraveled. And how much did it cost? 9,400 gil. A steal, I was told. 'Tis nothing fancy, but I've always valued function over form. That's incredible. I dare say not even Alphino could hold a candle to you. Indeed, it really is. It's not uncommon for... Let's see. I expected the Azure Dragoon to put up more of a fight. On that subject, I shall refrain from making comment, yet I cannot help but observe that the merchants seem overzealous in their pursuit of profit. Claiming Thavner as its dominion, the nation of Radzat-Han hath long thrived as a hub of commerce. In the beginning, there were the Arkasodara, a Matanga tribe indigenous to this island. Okay, so Matanga, not Mantanga. Okay. Over time, they came to be joined by other races, and through their intermingling, a culture rich and distinct did emerge. From alchemy to textiles, the products of Hanish culture have come to be celebrated and coveted the world over, a development only aided by the nation's prime location as a waypoint betwixt east and west. All this hath combined to make a trading power of Radzat-Han. Yet such a status cannot be taken for granted. Nay, it must needs be maintained through judicious governance and stringent regulation. Neither of which I see any evidence, given the merchants at a gateway town are free to fleece hapless travelers and tarnish the reputation of the nation at large. Just so, that opportunistic pricing is rampant suggests that oversight is much weakened, or mayhap that the people have fallen upon hard times. Whatever the truth may be, 'twould be prudent to ascertain the current state of affairs. Prudent and practical, aye. We've not to lose by learning more. So ere we seek out Kryle's acquaintance, shall we see what information we can gather here in Yedlamahad? These names are just gonna keep crossing me up here. Yedlamad, okay. Excellent. We didn't exactly get off to a flying start, but we'll make up for it. Alright, on the low tide. Right, let us split up and make inquiries in town. Prince, the pier is yours. Once we have learned what we can, we regroup by the Aetheryte. Off-putting though the mere sight of it may be. Alright, I think I see a chocobo porter over there. Or no, a gemstone trader. Welcome, traveler. That's right, we're open for business again. Can't sit wallowing when there's sales to be made, am I right? So, got any bicolored gemstones you're willing to part with? You now have access to this region's gemstone exchanger. Trade bicolored gemstones for a variety of rare and exclusive items. Successfully completing local fates will allow for the safe delivery of goods in the region, increasing the number of items available for exchange. Okay, so they have items... Okay, so I could have actually stacked those as well if I had foreseen that. I'm curious. Let's see. Actually, no. In order to cut down on inventory space, I decided not to carry all my gear here. So I'm not gonna spend any time picking up those materials just at this point. But it is nice to see Mained Hand have so much space here, as well as the rings as well. Alright, so we want to head to the south here, it looks like. Crate is laden with fruits, but they are on the verge of spoiling, as if they have been left too long. What am I doing? Oh, recording my sales. Still do it daily out of habit, though. I don't have to bother. I don't know why I bother. Hardly sell anything these days. Business has never been this terrible, but I suppose things could be even worse. I could have a consortium to keep afloat, like Kalzal. I don't envy his position. Better to be alone with my little operation, I've come to realize. You're a traveler, by the looks of you. If you have a moment, perhaps you could pay Kalzal a visit. He'd be glad for tidings from abroad. Like as not, you'll find him at the Salt Wind Sails, the Harbor Guild building across the water from here. And then I saw this here. There seems to be a lack of ships. Gazing out from the pier, you spy boats moored off nearby isles, with the silhouettes of larger seafaring vessels farther away. Compared to other ports you have visited in the past, there appears to be very little activity. Alright, so it looks like we're not actually going to be able to reach out to there, though. So where is the last thing I need to find? Ah, right there. Well now, if it isn't a traveler, you're a rare sight in these unsettled times. People have been giving us a wide berth since that accursed tower suddenly appeared on Naraner. If it just stood there and loomed ominously, perhaps things would be fine after a fashion, but no, it had to spawn fell fiends as well. We still have our lives thanks to the Radiant Host, but business is as good as dead. What'll become of us? Only the gods know. Alright, so it looks like if I take any action, those wings fall off, so I'm just gonna stick to riding El here instead. Okay, I need to head over here. The Dalmaskins aren't coming? But we already have everything they ordered. What are we supposed to do with it? I don't know, but yelling at me isn't going to help. All I know is that their plans have changed, and that's that. Look, you must have known this might happen. The Empire is at war with itself, and the provinces are in chaos. And then there's the tower sitting on our doorstep spitting out monstrosities. The city has its defenses, but we've been afforded no protection out here. We can't blame foreigners for not wanting to take the risk. But this will be an enormous loss. Alright. Forget about the Dalmaskins. Surely some ships are still coming. We have fresh produce, handicrafts, medicines, all the perennial Hanish favorites. Our consortium works closely with merchants and artisans to supply only the finest wares. Quality is guaranteed. I know all these things, Khazal. I do. Which is why I regret to say I have nothing for you. All voyages have been cancelled or indefinitely postponed. And you are? Wait, you're a foreigner, are you not? A merchant? Please tell me you're a merchant. I see. That's a shame. I'm sorry, but we're discussing important matters. If you need something, please talk to one of the others. Excuse me. My name is Rahatiya, and I'm here to see Khazal. Oh, it seems he's busy. I'll come back later then. Follow that elephant, I guess. Yes, can I help you? Ah, I remember seeing you back in the guild. You wanted to speak with Khazal too, did you? I'm Rahatiya, a fisherman of Akyali, a nearby village. I sell my catch to Khazal, who offers it to foreign merchants, but he hasn't bought anything for a while now. When I heard that the consortium had been struggling, I became worried and decided to come and see him. Just as soon as he's free, anyway. He's a hard-working man, and I dare not disturb him. If I may ask, what is it that you do? An adventurer, you say? And you travel the world helping people? Then, that must mean you're great at dealing with strangers. Please, won't you teach me to be like you? You see, I brought some fresh fish with me, the portion I couldn't preserve, and I want to sell them. The problem is, I'm terrible with people. I've ever only dealt with Khazal, and I can't talk to customers without getting my trunk in a twist. So please, as silly as it might sound, will you not peddle the fish in my stead and show me how it's done? If you're willing, please let me know, and we can begin at once. The events to follow cannot be skipped. You may wish to cancel any pending Duty Finder registrations. Yeah, I had the feeling one of these was coming up here. You'll do it then? Show me how to deal with customers. I'm in your debt. Right, please try peddling my fish to, shall we say, 3 people here in Yedlinmad. I will observe you and learn. Rahatiya is now accompanying you. Keep them at your side in order to proceed with quest objectives. Alright, so this is the same thing as before. Alright, so we need to find 3 that we can sell stuff to. Yes? Greetings, friend. How fare you of late? Greetings to you, too. I suppose I'm well enough given the circumstance. Things have settled down somewhat, but it was utter chaos when that tower first appeared. Everyone grabbing whatever they could, trampling over each other to get to the city. Many remain there for now, but I could not stay away. Had to come back, continue with my life such as it is. Whether or not it was the right choice, only time will tell. There's no place like home, but don't do anything dangerous, eh? Oh, trust me, I don't. I make sure to keep well clear of the tower, and when more monsters emerge from it, I heed the Radiant Host's instructions. I hope they deal with it soon so we can get back to our normal lives. To the days when you could earn as much as you gave and tuck into a meal satisfied that you did good work. Speaking of meals, why not have some fresh fish today? Fresh fish, you say? Oh, you're a fishmonger. When you bait me like that, how can I not bite? Very well, give me some of your fish. Thank you for your custom. The catch of the day is Shallow's cod, delectable stewed in coconut milk, or baked with a sprinkle of salt. Succeed in making a sale. Alright, well that's one. I can tell they're struggling to keep up with me if I'm mounted. Apparently so, yeah. A hawker, are you? Do you sell fruit by chance? If so, I want to buy some amra. Let's say a dozen. They don't need to be export quality. Why do you need so many amra for? Or what do you need so many amra for? Why, for eating, of course. It may seem like a lot, but of late, I go through that much in no time at all. I am a stock taker by trade, but with no vessels coming these days, the wares are beginning to pile up. By the same token, nothing is coming in from overseas, but not a day goes by that someone doesn't come asking when the next shipment is arriving for this and that, and this and that. All of it wears me down, and I find myself feeling constantly hungry. I know how you feel. Thank you. Pity you don't sell fruit, but I enjoyed our little chat. It took my mind off my troubles for a moment. Ah, that's a shame. Never mind. If nothing else, you left her with a positive impression. Let's move on to the north side of town, shall we? I get the feeling we'll be talking to Urianger in just a moment here. What is it? If you don't mind, I'm rather busy. Oh gods, my stomach. Ugh. Aether sickness? No, nothing so unusual. In my hurry to get back to work, I just ate a little too quickly. You should take it easier. Eat more slowly and savor your food. Would that I could, but I can't afford to be idle. Like as not, circumstances will surely get worse before they get better. And so I'm working as hard as I can while I still can. The better be prepared. How do you intend to prepare? By stockpiling supplies. For that, I need to earn coins so I can buy food, medicine, what have you. Oh, that would be funny, pushing this back onto Matsuya. Although I think the first option might be what they're trying to go for here. How about some fish for your supplies? They're fresh caught. Aye, well, fish wouldn't be bad, but I don't want to go through the hassle of preserving them myself. I'd rather buy stuff that's ready to store. So I'm afraid I'll have to pass on your fish. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must be getting back to work. Too bad we couldn't make a sale, but we did manage to build something of a relationship? Huh. Thank you so much for your demonstration. It was truly eye-opening experience. Come, let us return to the pier. Maybe not so much with the social skills, then. That's ya. Yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah, no kidding. That's for certain. Even PSO to a degree as well, I'd say. There we go. Thank you so much for showing me how to talk to customers. You managed to sell to one of the three people you approached. It was difficult, but when you put your mind to it, you succeeded. Though you did fail too, but there are lessons to be learned in both success and failure. By applying yours, I'll endeavor to become a better peddler. Still, there's only so much I can do alone. I hope that things will return to normal for Kalzal soon. I thought I heard a familiar voice, and who should it be but Matsuya? Yeah, I guess it could be a coding limitation, potentially. Kalzal, have you finished your business at the guild? So you were there too. Forgive me. Try as I might, I can't find any buyers. With no ships coming in and hardly any going out, there simply aren't any options. At this rate. So, you can't buy my fish anymore. I'm sorry, Matsuya. I truly am. But for now, you must peddle your own goods. But by myself, I can't. I want to help you, I do. But as it stands, I can barely help myself. I poured my all into the consortium, and I'll be damned if I let it fall apart. I have friends and families depending on me, and I can't, I won't fail them. The sisters as my witness. Kalzal. Not to worry. Using what I've learned from you, I'm sure I'll manage somehow. Well, I had best return to my village. My thanks again, and please take care on the road. Alright, let's locate where Thancred is. I see you've been busy. Managed to learn a tidbit or two, I trust. I see. We also heard that the tower is affecting many locals' livelihoods, but to think that it would be to such an extent. For another notable, if not wholly unexpected, discovery, disappearances and kidnappings are disturbingly commonplace. As before, the culprits are almost certainly tempered Imperial soldiers. As before, they mean to use the faith of their hapless thralls to call forth a lunar primal. Business as usual for the Telophoroi. That Matsuya fellow you were helping. He's Arkasodara, is he not? Apparently, 'tis almost exclusively his people that are being kidnapped. Should he be traveling alone? If summoning is this perpetrator's aim, it doth stand to reason that Arkasodra would be their primary targets. For 'tis the faith of their ancestors which prevaileth in this land, and many are devout adherents still. Better go after him. Akyali lies to the west, as I recall, the same direction as Kryle's acquaintance, incidentally. It's settled then. Keep your eyes peeled while we make for the village. Alright, there's also a quest down here with a plus marker on it. I suspect that's going to give an aether current. And yes, okay. So those are still the same as before. Not really. I mean, my understanding is as long as you're sticking with the MSQ, you'll gain EXP at an appropriate rate now. But there are other things that you can do in preparation or rather, you could have done in preparation up to the lead up to the launch of the expansion. And in fact, real quick, let me take care of another of those here. Over here in Idleshire. Pretty much one clash, yeah. So, Chloe Aliapo, I have to hand over a journal to you. Alright, so, in this case, alright, I don't know if anybody's actually going to be up for maps or not at this point, so I'm going to grab the platinum piece there. And then what do you have for your bronze certificates right now? Not much at all. And all this is still level 80 gear here. Alright, so I'm gonna grab the platinum piece and the MGP gold card then. Ah, there we go, level up. And then I'll grab another one. Yeah, so this, just by doing a Wondrous Tales journal before the launch here, basically gave you half a level here. Alright, so just got a bunch of actually rather normal stuff if I wanted to go for another level, but I'm not going to do this right now. Alright, that said, oh, we got a chocobo heap here. Well met, traveler. Might I interest you in a chocobo porter? And yeah, so we don't know any routes yet, and honestly, I'm just picking up the point here. I don't know if there will ever be a reason for me to grab that, or to use that. Especially once we get flying. You do not see Matsuya nearby, but the elevated group ahead may provide a better, or ground up ahead may provide a better vantage point. Not bad on the new battle music. I don't think I'm gonna need to turn it off like I did with Shadowbringers. Let's see. We need to head up there. You do not see Matsuya from here either. No, leave me alone. Help, somebody help. Matsuya's voice, and it came from the north. Well... I probably took out not just only my own there. And yeah, it definitely seems to have that feel. To that region of, or rather to that Minecraft biome. Huh. Where'd they go? Why are you here? I see you found him in time. You and your friends came to look for me. I don't know how to thank you. On my way home, I took a moment to stop and rest, think about what to do about, well, everything. And then those men came. Kidnappers. We had heard that the Arca were being targeted. Surely you have as well. Perhaps it's best if you took refuge in the city. We've considered it, me and the others, but fishing is all we know. The ocean all we have. I see. That is your decision to make, but you should take care not to travel alone. A question, if I may. 'Tis our understanding that strange fiends have emerged from the tower. What canst thou tell us of these beings? Not much, I'm afraid. I have no idea what they are. But I've heard that some bear an unsettling resemblance to our divinities. For that reason, some have taken to calling the tower Zot. House of Divinities, in the old tongue, it means. But they're not true divinities. They're monstrous imitations that bring only death. To have one's faith so twisted is a grievous indignity, and full justified art thou in thine outrage. Know that 'tis for no other purpose but to neutralize the tower that we have journeyed to this land. In time we may be forced to contend with these false gods, and thus we would learn all we may about them. Wilt thou not tell us of thy divinities and their true nature? You've come all this way to save us? Really? To think I had you peddling fish. But to answer the question, yes, of course. We would gladly tell you about our gods. We, I say, because I'm a terrible storyteller, and I'd ask my fellow villagers to do it. So please come to our village. We're good, gods-fearing folk, all of us, and we'd be honored to share our knowledge, and fish. What sayest thou? Shall we pay a visit to Akyali? Wonderful. Just follow the road west and down the hill. You can't miss it. So, 'tis the Simacula of Thavnarian gods that are being summoned. If any doubt existed before, there can be none now. The kidnapped Hanish are imprisoned in the tower. I pray that we will be able to save them. Though indeed, saving them will mean confronting their false gods, like as not. Aye, as you said, we do well to study their religion's traditions. To Akyali. Yeah, I don't quite get it myself either. It's a very interesting idea, although at the same time, from my understanding, they're supposed to be one of the new beast tribes. And I guess they would help with the... I guess they would be the gathering tribe in that case. At least for fishers. Which actually, I'll be able to make myself right at home if necessary. But by doing that, I can see the MSQ has been locked off, so back to Paladin. Welcome to Akyali, my friend. The name means White Beach, and there isn't much here save that, but please make yourself at home. Your companions have already begun talking to everyone. Feel free to show yourself around and to do the same. Any one of us can tell you about our gods, but you could do worse than to start with Kanga and old Hasveda. They're free at the moment as it happens. Alright, so we have made our way to Akyali, and with that, I'm going to take a quick 3 to 5 minute break here, at which point we are going to investigate this town and find what we can. So please stand by, everyone. I will be right back.